I am making a dinosaur deck profile. I managed to get all the new transcendent cards that I was needing. I am still missing one card for the deck. Otherwise, the card deck is a 42 card deck. The only card I'm missing is a second copy of Animadorn. But I took it to locals yesterday, and out of 2 tournaments, I got second both times. And I will go over. Or for the first tournament, I went 2-1 against Vanquished Soul. Or no, that was the other one. For the first one, I went 2-0 against Sue Ship. I forgot what I follow. Yeah, Sue Ship, Kashtira. What was the other ones? I don't remember anymore, but I did very good. My game, or for the first tournament, I only lost to Branded, which was 1-2. And then my only loss the second tournament was against Dragon Link, where I just bricked. Or I bricked game 1 and game 2. He had Eradicate Epidemic Virus to deal with my spells, so I really couldn't do anything. But anyway, starting off with the monsters, I play 1 copy of Animadorn Argosaur. I would prefer to play 2, but for now I only have 1, and I don't want to play the rare, so one of my friends has a secret rare Animadorn that he's going to trade me, but for now, I'm going to play the 1, and it's pretty useful just because when it's normal or special summoned, you can destroy a dinosaur other than itself to add. You'll never add a monster. The only thing you'll ever add after this will be double evolution pill, and you can use that effect of Animadorn Argosaur once per turn. Then I play 3 copies of the most broken card monsters in the deck, 3 copies of Baby Ceratosaurus, and 3 copies of Petite Pteranodon. Both of them have the effect of when they're destroyed and sent to the graveyard, and then that's where it just splits off, where Baby Ceratosaurus will let you summon a level 4 or lower dinosaur from your deck, and Petite Pteranodon will let you summon a level 4 higher dinosaur from your deck, but it cannot attack that turn. The reason that these 2 are broken is because the deck does a lot of destroying, and the babies are not once per turn at all. It's just, when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, summon a new thing. And then, next I play the Scrap Engine of 1 Scrap Chimera and 2 Scrap Raptor. Scrap Chimera has the effect of, when it's normal summon, or cannot be used as synchro material except for a synchro summon of a scrap monster. And all other monsters have to be scraps. But when it's not normal summon, you can special summon Scrap Raptor from your grave. And then Scrap Raptor has the effect of, you can target 1 monster you can control, destroy it, and if you do get a second normal summon for a scrap monster, and if Scrap Raptor is destroyed, you can add Scrap Chimera from your deck to your hand. Technically lets you search for any scrap monster other than Raptor, but Chimera is the only option, so. Then I play 3 copies of the best starter of the deck, which is Soul Eating Oviraptor. So, Soul Eating Oviraptor has the effect of, when it's normal or special summoned, you can either add from your deck to your hand a dinosaur monster, or you can send a dinosaur monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then once per turn, you can target 1 other level 4 or lower dinosaur on the field, destroy it to then special summon a dinosaur from your grave in defense position. And you can only use each effect of Soul Eating Oviraptor once per turn. It's usually, depending on your hand, you'll either add or send the 1 copy of Miscellaneous Source. If this card ever gets put to 3, this deck will be very broken. As during the main phase, you can send Miscellaneous, or during your player's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to then make it so that the dinosaur monsters, or during that main phase, your dinosaur monsters on field are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. And then while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and any number of other dinosaurs in your grave to summon a dinosaur monster from your deck with the same level. So you can banish just itself to summon an Animadorn Argosaur, or you can banish it and another to summon a baby, it and 3 others to summon an Oviraptor, and just go on. And then I also play 1 copy of Giant Rex. Giant Rex has the effect of, once per turn, if it's banished, you can summon it back to your field. And when summoned by its own effect, it gains 200 attack for each of your banished dinosaurs, but it cannot attack the turn. Or it cannot attack. It cannot attack your opponent directly. And then for the other one I play one copy of Megalo Smasher X. This is in here because the new Transcendent dinosaurs require you to play normal monsters. Speaking of which, I play 2 copies of Xeno Meteorus and 1 copy of Frostosaurus. Frostosaurus is only in here because it's a level 6 normal dinosaur, so it works with some of the extra deck monsters. And Xeno Meteorus is actually really broken to have, as if a card in your hand or you control is destroyed, you can special summon from your hand. And then during the main phase, you can destroy 1 monster. I believe you can destroy a dinosaur monster from your hand or field to then special summon a normal dinosaur from your deck. But if you use this effect as Xeno Meteorus, you are locked into dragon, dinosaur, sea serpent, or worm monsters for the rest of the turn from the extra deck. Which isn't that big an issue, but I actually realized during the tournament that that's how its effect works, where I just thought it was if you use any of its effects, you're locked into that. Then I play 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This is just a free summon if your opponent has more monsters than you do. And it can tribute a Dino Wrestler on your field to then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then I also play 1 copy of Dagoran the Mad Flame Kaiju. It's just a searchable kaiju because it is a dinosaur, even though it looks more like a dragon. But you can just tribute a monster your opponent controls, special summon to their field and attack position. Then I play 2 copies of the deck's boss monster, which is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I want to play a 3rd just because I fuel my grave quickly, so summoning Ultimate Conductor is not that big of an issue. The Ultimate Conductor has the effect of it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And it can destroy 1 monster from your hand or face-up field to then Book of Eclipse your opponent. And if it battles a monster in defense position, then it can send that monster straight to the graveyard to then inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. It cannot be normal summoned or set and must first be special summoned by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard. And you can only use the flip effect of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I think it's a hard once per turn. Let's see. Where's that start? There's stuff. Let's see. Once per turn. No. But the flip effect of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is a soft once per turn. So if you have multiple Tyrannos in play, you can do it multiple times a turn. And then to finish off the monsters, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just because it's a really good hand trap. I've honestly thought about taking Ash Blossom out of the deck entirely, just because I've built this to be a blind go second deck, so some of the other cards I main will kind of make that clear, but overall Ash is still a really good card, so I figured why not, that way I have something in the main deck that can be used for Double Evolution Pill. Moving on to the spells, I play 1 copy of Terraforming, so you can get Lost World. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, because this deck does not like back row. Then I play 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. Double Evolution Pill has the effect that you can banish a dinosaur monster and a non-dinosaur monster from your hand and or grave for cost. Should then special summon a level 7 or higher dinosaur monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And you can only activate 1 Double Evolution Pill per turn. This is usually how you summon Ultimate Conductor, because usually you don't want it in your hand, you want it in deck, so you can summon off of this. But then, because this is a blind go second deck, I play 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm can only be activated if you control no face-up cards on your field. But if you do, you can destroy all of your opponent's attack position monsters or all their spell and trap cards. I will typically go spell and trap cards if they have monsters, because I can just flip them with Ultimate Conductor. Then I play 3 copies of Lost World. Lost World is, at first I thought wasn't needed, then I realized it's very, very good still. Just because I actually won a a match against Mekanko because of Lost World, because of how the equip mechanic works. If I give them a Jura Egg token, they can't equip their Mekanko monsters with equip spells since they can't target anything other than the Jura Egg token, which I will get to that now. All non-dinosaur monsters on the field will lose 500 attack and defense. If a dinosaur monster is normal or special summoned, once per turn you can special summon a Jura Egg token to your opponent's side of the field. And then while they control that token, they cannot target or they cannot target any other monsters on the field except for the token. And if the token would be destroyed by battle or card effect, or my bad, if a normal monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy a dinosaur monster in your deck instead. And you can only use each of the effects of Lost World once per turn. But I actually had both of those come up in my game against the Mekanko player because he didn't realize what Lost World did. So when he realized he couldn't equip anything, use any of his equip spells because of the Jura Egg token, he switched it to attack mode, went to attack into my Oviraptor, where I then had saved it by destroying a baby or a Petite Pteranodon deck, summoned an Oviraptor, used Oviraptor's effect to then be able to add an Ultimate Conductor to my hand, and he just ended up scooping from there because he knew he was going to be running out of life points next turn. But if I remember correctly, for the second tournament, I went 2-0 against Vanquished Soul, 2-0 against Mekanko, and then I went 0-2 against Dragon Link. I guess technically it was Dragon Link and then Mekanko. And then for the first tournament, I cannot remember why, for the life of me, why all I thought. Oh yeah, I remember the first tournament now. The first tournament, I went 2-0 against Suship, then I 2-0'd Kashtira. Then I had 2-0'd Eldritch, and then I 1-2'd against Brandon. Which, in my defense, that only happened because it was my brother and he knows my tactics with this deck. So he knows exactly what to go for. The only win I had against him, though, was because I summoned Abramax with IP. So he used Mirror Jade to get rid of it, and then I had 2 Ultimate Conductors that I was able to exactly take out the rest of his life points. Now that's been covered, I also play 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig is very good just because it's not a once per turn. Add a level 6 or lower dinosaur from deck to hand. Usually you will use this to add either Oviraptor or Miscellaneousaurus. But if you already have both those in your hand, then you'll probably just do something like add a baby. Just so you have something to destroy and benefit from. And then the next, I play 3 copies of Ground Xeno. Ground Xeno plus any baby is broken. There's nothing about it. Because you activate Ground Xeno, which will let you add a dinosaur tuner or a normal dinosaur monster in your deck to your hand, and then destroy a card in your hand. So you do is you would have this destroy either Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pteranodon, or you would add Xenometeorus to destroy the baby, chain 1 baby, chain 2 Xenometeorus will summon itself, and then depending on which one you destroyed, you will then summon. If you destroyed a Baby Ceratosaurus, I would summon Petite Pteranodon, or if it's Petite Pteranodon, then I would summon Megalo Smasher X. And then you can banish Ground Xeno from your grave in order to fusion summon, which I'll get to that fusion monster when I get to it, but you can just go from there, or even instead of having the baby summon another baby, and then having this pop the baby to summon a normal, and then the baby will summon Oviraptor, and then you can do your plays from there. But that's it for the main deck. Like I was saying earlier, the only thing I would change is I would want to take 1 card out for Ultimate Conductor or for a 3rd Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And I would also add a 2nd Animodorn Archosaur, just because this time 1 was enough, but 2 is a good number to have. For the links, I play 1 copy of IP Masquerena, 1 copy of Pentastag, and 1 copy of Scrap Wyvern. I don't know how I feel about the extra deck just yet, but I do still need to add 2 monsters to the extra deck, which, or I can say add, but replace 2 monsters in it with Link Karibo and, what was it? I think it was called Secure Gardena, where you use the Animal Argosaur to make a Link Karibo, then you link off the Link Karibo for Secure Gardena, so that you then have a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur in your grave to use the Double Evolution Pill. But IP Masquerena is during the main phase, or during your opponent's main phase, you activate its effect to Link Summon, and then a Link monster that was used using IP Masquerena's material cannot be destroyed by your opponents, or by opponents, cannot be destroyed by card effects. Pentastag just lets any monster you control that at points 2 inflict piercing damage. Scrap Wyvern just requires 2 monsters, including a Scrap. But it includes the effect of you can target a Scrap monster in grave, special summon it, then destroy one card you control. If another Scrap monster is destroyed by card effect while you control this monster, you can special summon 1 Scrap monster from your deck, then destroy 1 card you control. You can use each effect of Scrap Wyvern once per turn. This is mainly just used so you can abuse the baby further. Because the motto I found with this deck is if you're not abusing the baby, you're doing it wrong. As bad as that sounds. And then I also play 1 copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. I mainly play this because this is still a problematic card for most decks to get over. Where ordinarily your opponent can't target it with card effects, and they can't target other monsters you control for attacks. And you usually make it with IP Masquerena, so it also can't be destroyed in battle. It can't be destroyed by card effects. So it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And then its own effect makes it so that if it battles a monster that's special summoned from the extra deck, I believe. Oh no, if it just battles a special summoned monster, you can activate its effect during the damage step to then be able to have it gain that monster's attack points. And if this card leaves the field, and is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, I have to remember how it's worded. If this Link Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 card of the field and shuffle into the graveyard. Which turns out against Branded, all I have to do to get rid of this and not have to worry about the downside of it is just summon Mirror Jade, banish it. And then for the fusions, I play 2 copies of Transcendosaurus Gigantozauler. Gigantozauler has the effect of when it is special summoned, you can target 1 dinosaur in your graveyard, add to your hand, and then if it was special summoned from the graveyard, you can then destroy 1 card or 2 cards, 1 you control or in your hand, and 1 card your opponent controls. And then if it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle a normal dinosaur in your graveyard back into the deck to summon it to the field. And you can only use each effect of Transcendosaurus Gigantozauler once per turn. Then for the synchros, I play 1 copy of Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, 1 copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, and 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. Draco Berserker, the 10 is only in here because since you lock yourself into Worm, it's a generic level 8 synchro that's not hard to make. That's actually pretty good. It has the effect of if it battles and destroys an opponent's monster by battle. If its attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, banish it. Oh no, that's the other effect. I am sorry, I am getting tongue-tied. Its effect is if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate this card's effect to banish it. If it destroys an effect monster in battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate its effect to gain attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack, and it can make a second attack on a monster during that battle phase. And you can only use each effect of Draco Berserker 10 once per turn. Savage Dragon has the effect of when it's Link summoned, you can target a Link monster in your graveyard, equip it to it against half of that Link monster's attack points, and gets 2 Savage counters, or gets Savage counters equal to the Link rating. I don't know why I said material. So if you equip a Link 2, it gains 2 Savage counters, and it can remove a Savage counter to negate an opponent's card effect. And then Baron's just a generic negate once while it's face up on the field, once per turn, target card on the field, pop it. And you can summon a level 9 lore monster from your grave during the standby by shuffling itself back into the deck, extra deck. Then, since level 10 is easy to make. I do play one copy of Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chinging because you lock yourself into worms. Worm is one of the things you can lock yourself into, so this is summonable. And you do banish a lot in this deck, surprisingly. But when a card's banished, it banishes a card from your opponent's field and grave. It gains 100 for each banished card. Your opponents lose 100 for each of the banished cards. And if it would be destroyed, you can banish a card from your graveyard instead. For the Xyz monsters, I play one copy of Baguska, one Dolka, and one Logia. Baguska, during its standby phase, has to detach material or self-destruct. Dolka can detach material when opponent activates a monster effect, negate the effect, and destroy it. Not once per turn, or even once per chain. And Logia can, if a spell or trap would be activated or a monster will be summoned, you can detach 2 materials, negate the summon or activation if you destroy that card. Then to finish off the Xyz monsters, I play one copy of Evilsaur Solda, and one copy of Transcendosaurus Drillnathus. Solda has the effect can't be destroyed by battle, or can't be destroyed by card effects while as material. And if your opponent will special summon a monster except in the damage step, detach material to destroy that card. And Drillnathus has the effect of, if it has no materials, it inflicts double battle damage. Once per turn, you can detach material, target one banished dinosaur you control, special summon it, and then if it would be destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle a normal monster from your grave back into the back into the deck, summon it to the field. And you can only use each effect of Drillnathus once per turn. That is it for my dinosaur deck profile. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas the decks I see face each other, or decks like to see be made in the future, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.